empower them to connect with others, to be seen, heard, and valued. The peer-to-peer jam offers young women the opportunity to grow their confidence, start their leadership journey, learn from the value of building trusted relationships, setting goals, making healthy decisions, and of course, dreaming big. We also have an exciting guest today with us for the Role Model Talks, who is Siobhan Calderbank. Siobhan is our 2019 Woman of Inspiration, Diversity Inclusion Award recipient. And of course, our moderator today is Sophia Fairweather, our 2017 Woman of Inspiration Millennial Leader. She's going to be moderating the Role Model Talk and also a peer-to-peer jam. But before we get started, here we have a jam from Kaya Gamble, our 2019 Woman of Inspiration Youth Excellence Award recipient. And Kaya, you have a very special announcement today. We are so tickled that we're going to actually hear the very first song being played here first before it's even released. So we're dying to hear what the name of the song is, Kaya, and we'll have you kick off our jam.
Thank you so much, Monica. Again, it's such an honor to be here today. Thank you so much for having me a part of Peer-to-Peer Jams. And thank you to our wonderful moderator, Sophia Fairweather, for just being awesome. And to our role models for teaching us so much, because you're all awesome, seriously. And Siobhan, you especially. So, I'm not going to say the name of the song yet, but this is coming out November 5th. So, next Thursday, which is the 21st, be sure to start pre-saving the song, as I'd really appreciate it. You can find it on Instagram at Kaya Gamble Official. But here's a song to remain nameless for now. I was always a dreamer, just never was a believer. Sorry, technical difficulty. Let's try this again. I was always a dreamer, just never was a believer. Happy endings were never really meant for me. I know that I'm not a princess, but I couldn't care less, 'cause you showed me I don't need a white horse. Fairy tales aren't what they seem, 'cause you put the stars in that sky, and you can stop the hands of time. I was looking for it, but I was so blind, and I ain't gonna question why. You set my heart on fire. Don't know how I could get much higher. I put all my chips in, think I'm winning. Don't know what love is, but baby, I'm in it. Ooh, oh, oh, I'm in it. Ooh, oh, I'm in it. Ooh, oh, I'm in it. Don't know what love is, but baby, I'm in it. Don't know where it'll take me, or if it's gonna break me, but I let you in, so don't let me down tonight. Let's just live in the moment. Give you my heart if you'll hold it. And it might not last, but I like falling fast. Something about you just feels right, 'cause you put the stars in that sky, and you can stop the hands of time. I was looking for it, but I was so blind, and I ain't gonna question why. You set my heart on fire. Don't know how I could get much higher. I put all my chips in, think I'm winning. Don't know what love is, but baby, I'm in it. Ooh, oh, oh, I'm in it. Ooh, oh, oh, I'm in it. Ooh, oh, I'm in it. Don't know what love is, but baby, you put the stars in the sky. You can start the hands of time. Why was I blind? I ain't gonna question why. You set my heart on fire. Don't know how I could get much higher. I was looking for it, but now I'm winning. Don't know what love is, but baby, I'm in it. Don't know what love is, but I'm in it. Don't know what love is, but baby, I'm in it. Don't know what love is, but I'm in it. Don't know what love is, but baby. Thank you. That was, here's the title, drum roll. That was I'm in it. I co-wrote that with Annika Cheen and Spencer Cheen. It comes out November 5th, so start pre-saving next Thursday, please. I'd really appreciate it. So thank you.
Amazing. I have goosebumps. Can you see them on the screen? Like every single part of my legs and my body and my skin is full of goosebumps. That is such a beautiful song. I have just watched you continue to soar and raise the bar to the next level. I'm so proud of everything that you're doing. And I have to say, what's so encouraging is that you have such a great peer-to-peer team around to support you. And I hope that you feel all of the sunshine that you should. And I'm just super proud of you all. So thank you so much, Kaya, for sharing that with us. We're going to keep it under wraps until it's public. But I am excited now to turn the baton over to our moderator, Sophia Fairweather, who is the founder of Startup by Sophia. Again, Sophia, I am welcoming you. I'm going to fade into the background here and join my friend Kaya off stage while we welcome Siobhan Calderbank to the stage.
All right, so thank you, Monica, for the introduction and passing the baton. I have the absolute great pleasure now to introduce this time's role model for our peer-to-peer jam role model talks, which is Siobhan Calderbank. She possesses over 20 years of progressive experience in people management, training and development, customer service, and project management within large and complex corporate environments. Siobhan is a dynamic speaker and award-winning published author, and an expert in change management and leadership. She's also founder of Butterfly Ladies, which is a mentoring program committed to help develop the careers of women, youth, and especially visible minorities. She's also Senior Director of Talent Management at LCBO and focuses on talent management, performance management, learning, change management, diversity, belonging, and equity. And we are very lucky to have her here at UWN as UWN's National Ambassador for Black Women. She is a creative, energetic, result-driven speaker with a well-earned reputation for motivating and inspiring clientele groups. She has spoken to diverse groups at conferences, events, seminars, and planning sessions to motivate individuals to work more collaboratively. And after going through that bio, I think it's rather understandable that I thought Siobhan sounded really interesting and I want to learn more about her and learn from her knowledge. So I'm super excited to ask my questions to Siobhan, and if anyone listening has any questions, of course, put them down to the comments or you can reach out to us on social media. And with that, good afternoon, Siobhan, and thank you so much for coming today.
Well, thanks for having me, Sophia.
Yeah, I'm really glad to speak with you today and learn from you. And to just start with a question, though, to learn a little bit about you, is what is your journey and how long did it take you to get all the knowledge you needed to get where you are today?
Well, that's a really big loaded question there when you talk about what's your journey. The journey has been quite some time with my life. And I would say it has taken me a lifelong journey in terms of learning. But realistically, I probably started that maybe even in high school, because I remember there's certain points that I remember when it came to management that I use now from things that I learned being in high school, such as leveraging skills of individuals, even when they don't see the skills within themselves. And that was something I learned very quickly. And as I moved on to, university and then going into the working world, those skills have really helped me evolve as a leader and has really helped me to develop the teams that I have even right now. And I have an eye for spotting out talent. And I also have an eye for even people who don't have confidence in themselves to find their strengths and to leverage those strengths. So part of my journey has always been about continuous learning. And I'm a firm believer of that. My mom is a professor at a college, and she's always instilled in me the importance of continuous learning. So I've taken many courses and programs from the information technology management after I graduated from high school. I was actually not sure because I wanted to go into law, and I thought maybe I'll be a lawyer like Claire Huxtable from The Cosby Show, and ended up going into being a paralegal. Didn't really like that so much, as I found that my clients were lying quite a bit. That's kind of why they call lawyers liars, by the way, because you just kind of regurgitate what your clients say. Then I went on to doing the IT. From there, I did training and development because I love developing programs to help people have that light bulb that goes off over their head, like, yes, I got it, and try to make that fun and engaging. And taking courses in project management. And then I got like my credentials as a CTDP, which is Certified Training and Development Professional, my PMP, Project Management Professional, CMP as a change management professional, and I got my master's in leadership, which I've absolutely loved that program because I learned so much about myself and how to lead others more effectively. So all of that culmination was many, many years, and it still hasn't stopped. I still continue to jump on webinars, learn from others. I never stop learning because I think that's critical to the success of any person, because you always know that there's so much more, and that's part of growing up in that wisdom that you get, is learning from others and continuously developing.
That is, of course, a really inspiring and interesting story. And learning is something that gets all throughout your life, and learning is really valuable. And all knowledge that you pick up, it's all useful and it's all really cool to know. And it makes a lot of sense why it just takes, it takes a long time to get where you are, but then of course level up. And to actually understand a little bit more about your profession, why do you become a mentor and or founder?
What I found is, when I was younger, I always looked to wanting a mentor because I believe that mentors really can help you achieve more success in your career faster, because you can ask them questions around, how to do certain aspects of your job or things that you need to take into consideration that you never would have thought of. And I realized that I want to say almost a little later in my career, probably when I first started, and I wish I had jumped on that much, much sooner. But then as I started moving up in my career, I had more women coming and asking me to mentor them. So there was a shift. And then I thought, you know what? There's a whole bunch of people that want that mentoring opportunity, particularly young women who were at those crossroads. Like, as you're growing older and you're looking at, what do I want to be when I grow up, so to speak, and you're finishing school and you're still kind of unsure, having a mentor there that's going to guide you and provide you with sometimes even just a lifeline to let you know it's okay. Even if you messed up on a paper or whatever, it's not going to be the end of the world. But you have so much more opportunities that they can open up for you and guide you. And for me, when I was getting those requests, I thought, wouldn't it be great if I was able to reach more women? And so this is where I created Butterfly Ladies. And Butterfly Ladies, I look at, they're continuing to evolve, just like butterflies do. You start off as a caterpillar, and then you go in your cocoon, but then you evolve into something that's beautiful. And it's all about learning and a butterfly effect, because it's not just about one individual, it's about multiple individuals. And the small acts can really lead into big works when you're able to have that effect on multiple individuals. And so I really love that concept of giving back. And that I find is the most rewarding aspect of my life, in terms of giving back to communities, and particularly women that are visible minorities that don't necessarily find a mentor very easily for them.
Well, it's definitely great to be able to find a passion that really interests you and to dedicate yourself towards. And because you do have experience in this field and you've been working at it for a little while, what's some information I didn't think you would need to know to be a founder or a mentor? And throughout your many adventures, what have been the most interesting?
Things that you need to know, probably around, advertising or how to get leads. These are some of the things that you kind of learn along the way. I've been really, I guess, grateful and quite appreciative that I've had some amazing people that I've met along the way that have provided me with many opportunities from the advertising space, that operated like almost like a broker, who were out there getting gigs for me for speaking engagements, that put my name out there to others where I didn't even know. And so as a result, I was able to collect more business. Advertising, let's say even on Google, that was a hard lesson to learn how to navigate, like AdWords and ranking and whatnot. But some of these things are, you'll try by error, is very expensive. So I always encourage taking courses to understand what you're doing and learn from people that are successful, not just people who are talking. And it's difficult sometimes to weed through that. But again, going back to the mentors, finding coaches and mentors that are going to be able to help and guide you. The difference between the coach and the mentors, oftentimes coaches you'll pay because they're going to help you develop specific skill sets, how to speak better, how to have better stage presence. But your mentor is really going to help you more with your career development and maybe certain tasks or challenges that you face in your career or path or role. And they're going to help guide you to make those better decisions and really be there for you. That's more of an unpaid role. And I feel that that's important. And then third is a sponsor role. And that's another one that I wish I had learned sooner. That's like the secret that they never tell you, which is you need a sponsor. You need somebody who's going to be your cheerleader and who is going to speak positively about you and amplify you behind the scenes. And without those three, it's more challenging for you to be successful and to be able to sort of figure out what your niche is and where you want to go. So that would be my best advice in terms of lessons learned, what you need.
Yeah, those are all really good ones. I'm still learning a lot about how to get my voice out there. And yeah, that's a really good skill that you need to learn. And it sounds like you've had some really neat experiences, and it's great that you've had so many. And for my next question is one on advice you can share as well. And that is, what would your advice be to youth out there, and in this event, of course, to adventure and be okay with stepping out their comfort zone and doing something fun but different?
First of all, have confidence that in your own self. And I think sometimes that's hard, especially when you hear a lot of people are naysayers and they tell you like, oh no, you shouldn't do that. Oh, you should play it safe. Oh, maybe get a really good job and don't, get adventurous because you might get hurt. And these people who tell you this are really coming from a place of protection. And they really do want the best from you. And I wouldn't like discard that entirely. But you also have to be true to yourself and listen to that inner voice that says, this is a path that I need to take because I have a natural inclining and calling. And if you compare that up with what I call your strengths, so your strengths are things that you're passionate about and you're good at, right? Because there's things that you're good at, but you're not passionate about it, right? Those aren't what we call strengths. So when you're able to find those strengths and then explore them even further, you'd be amazed at the wonderful things that you can actually create, the people that you'll network, the people that you meet, and the things that you'll be able to accomplish. So for me, venturing, people was when I was younger used to just say, oh, you should probably just go into being like a researcher. It's safe, and for me, that was never something that I wanted to do. I always wanted to venture out and do a bit more than that. And which is probably why with all the learning and everything that I've done, and someone will say, well, you didn't quite pick a path. You didn't pick just one and stuck with it. No, I didn't. I took multiple different courses and different programs, and I'm a firm believer of everything happens for a reason. Every course you take, every person you meet, all of these things will culminate into your greatest adventures. And you just have to have a little bit of courage to take that next leap. And for me, even something as simple as font design and learning about fonts comes into play later because I design on a regular basis as part of training and development. I make things look aesthetically pleasing, and all this is little things that I did all sort of culminate into making really great programs that people enjoy and take pushing limits with, okay, let me try something new and let me express myself in a different way when I'm, whether it's a keynote speech or I'm designing a new program for leaders. I'll take those risks because they pay off and you get really great reviews and people learn great things in a different, fun, engaging way.
Yeah, design is something that actually, luckily through UW1, I've been able to learn a little bit more, but it's something that I want to learn more about because it is really useful. And I think that it can really draw people in. So yeah, it's something I want to learn more about. And that is some really great advice. And I hope that whoever is listening finds it really helpful. And
I'm gonna
another
give you a
question.
tip on that one too, if you don't mind. If you
Oh yeah,
want
sure.
with
Yeah.
your designs, there's this great site. It's called Canva. And if you go there, they give you so many ideas of like what looks good. And you can use that to, I can use their templates if you choose to sign up. And I believe they have lots of free templates there. Yes, I see people saying how much they love Canva. And it's a great, wonderful site. And it really will elevate your game when you put together, whether it is a proposal, a presentation, poster, so much fabulous tools and templates there. So that's a freebie.
Oh, that's really cool. I've been looking at a few apps that have been kind of cool. Right now, I'm kind of more looking into the kind of things that Canva does give. Yeah, I've been looking into Canva a little bit, but yeah, it's a really good tip for those listening. And for my next question, and also one on advice you can share, is there anything that you did change or found in your life and etc. that to help build confidence in yourself or help get rid of that kind of imposter syndrome that many of us experience?
I still sometimes feel a little bit of the imposter syndrome, if I'm being completely honest with you. And I have to remind myself that I didn't get to where I was overnight, and it wasn't just luck. Like I was watching a video, and they're talking about the imposter syndrome, and somebody, they're like a brain surgeon, and it's like, oh, I just sort of fell into it, or they just picked me because I got lucky. No, it's not luck. I have to remind myself it's hard work that got me to where I am. And, people might look at all of you that are amazing, young, and passionate, driven, talented women, and that say, hey, oh, you just got lucky. You just met the right person. But it's not. You did put in the time. You took the time to invest in yourselves. You took the time to take some risks, and you're doing amazing things in your community. And you need to continue doing that. And anytime you hear that little voice that says, oh, you're not good enough, you can't do this, just consider it like monkey chatter, right? Monkey chatter is just that noise on your shoulder, and just ignore it, because you need to be able to follow your own heart and your own passions, and understand that you got to where you are because you are amazing. And that's something that I have to keep reinforcing and keep telling myself. Some days it's easier than others, but it's definitely not just luck. Has far more to do with your skills and abilities and talents being able to get someplace. So when you hear that, it's squash that noise or silence the monkey chatter, and look within yourself and take a step back, look at all of your accomplishments to date, right? It's not just one, you've had multiple. That's a track record. And you can build on that, and knowing that when you're going into your next thing, you can build on all those experiences to help build your confidence that you're going to be able to kill it next time you go forward with your next adventure.
Yeah, it's a really good advice, and that's a good reminder for everyone listening. But also, yeah, for me, imposter syndrome is something that many people experience, and it's a recurring theme on the role model talks, where people will say it doesn't just go away. Like, sure, it might silence a little bit, or you get better with dealing with it, or just quieting that voice. But yeah, it's something that you always have, and it's a good reminder for everybody. And for my next question, oh, sorry.
Sometimes, as another tip too, I've done this, is you can also switch personas. So you have your persona that you're every day, your friends know you, and everything's good. And then when you feel a little insecure, or you're not feeling as confident as you want to be, you can also pretend to be another persona. And I found this works really effectively too. So let's say I have to go into a meeting, and I have to meet somebody who I find might be a little bit challenging. I'll switch to another persona and say, okay, I'm going to just pretend. I'm going to go into like an acting mode for a moment, and I'm going to be completely confident, and I got this. And that's all I'll tell myself. Like, you got this, girl. And you go in, and for, that hour, 30 minutes, whatever that might be, you're just amplifying the confidence, and you're saying, okay, I'm just going to pretend I'm just acting, and then I got to do everything I got to do. And then when you're done, you can take a deep breath, like, okay, I can go back to, I don't have to deal with that situation again. But you'd be surprised how much it helps. It's like actors, when they switch in and out of character, that's still who they are, but they're now just amplifying another part for a short period of time. So if you ever feel like, oh, I don't really feel confident, I'm going to switch to whatever your alter ego might be for a short period of time, and you'll find that it's so much more fun. And the more you do it, the more you'll find your confidence actually is able to build, and you can switch in and out of those modes when you want to.
That's like something that once in a while I'll do if I'm going into something, and it's like for instance, a podcast where it's more of a discussion podcast without really questions. Like, there's topics, not really questions, and it's kind of unstructured. And there's some of the topics I don't really have much confidence in. Like, I'll just like do my best, and I'll like show that I have confidence, and like I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm saying. And usually it works. Like, usually I'm correct. Usually it goes okay, at least, and it sounds great. So yeah, it's something that really works, and it does help with confidence for sure. Yeah.
And the Wonder Woman pose also works too, for a couple of deep breaths before you go in. It sounds funny, but it really does work. You'll feel more powerful. Have you seen that, the Wonder Woman pose?
I think I've heard of it before. I forget what it looks like though. I'm pretty sure I saw
So
the
you've seen
photo.
Wonder Woman, right? When she stands up and she's got like her two arms like at the side, and you stand up and take a couple of deep breaths, you actually infuse your whole body with this energy that you feel more confident before you go in and do a presentation, an interview, a proposal, anything. Just do a couple of deep breaths with your hands on your hips, like your Wonder Woman. And you will be amazed at how good you feel going in and how much more confident you are.
Well, it makes sense because taking deep breaths just always just like by itself is usually something that really helps or calms you down or gives you confidence or helps.
Yeah.
So yeah, doing that I can imagine, yeah, would definitely help. And for the next question and the last one on advice you can share, is there anything that you would focus on more now, like skills, passion, connection, or grit? Which one do you focus on now? And when you were younger, did you focus on a different skill trait?
I think when I was younger, I focused a lot on skill, which was skill development. Like I wanted to learn everything. I needed to be a master and I needed to learn. And then there comes a point where you've learned a whole bunch of stuff. But then I had to sort of grow into my own. And that took authenticity, which then took passion. So my passion, which drove me initially to like learn all this stuff, but I was focused on skill for so long. Now it's less caring about what others maybe think and more about what am I passionate about. And when I'm able to connect my skill with my passion, this is where we move into engagement because people are now more engaged in what I have to say because they can feel the passion. But I feel more confident because I have the skill, which makes me more credible when I'm talking. So they all sort of come together well. So the more you learn, the more confident you feel because you got this, because now you understand what it is you're talking about. But when you add that passion, you can feel it with that individual. And then that draws people to you. And so I would say right now, I focus on passion. If I love it, you're going to know it. You're going to see it. I'm going to be oozing it out all over. And then I have the skills that I've been developing over the years to help supplement that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Right now, what I'm focusing on is really skills and making sure that I learn all kinds of different things. And it makes a lot of sense that that's what you focused on when you were younger. And what you're focusing on now, that also makes a lot of sense. And switching gears to the second last question, and one that has a little bit more of a fun air to it, isn't super businessy or whatever, is what do you do on the side that we may not know about? And does being a founder and or mentor help you be able to do that unique thing?
Do on the side. uh, I guess it would be the mentoring. I even do that with Butterfly Ladies, and I do it informally at work. I am a volunteer mentor for TRIAC, which is part of it's like our Toronto Regional Immigration Council, and so they really work with new immigrants to Canada to be able to help find them a job. And I do love volunteering my time. A lot of the skills from mentoring are very transferable to that program. So aside from that, and then speaking, of course. And I find that there's a really great trifecta because all of them require, some forms of skill, passion, as we talked about before, but to be able to deliver and help others. And that's really the key. So for me, at the end of the day, it's how do I make somebody's life better, easier, more effective, more efficient? What can I give back to make them happier and more fulfilled individual? And that thereby makes me a lot happier too.
Yeah, it's a really neat hobby to do or thing to do to be a mentor. Yeah, I can imagine that would be really fulfilling work to have. And yeah, a nice thing to do once you have it down pat. And if it's just part of like a moral that you want to help people, like that's really good. For me, I really enjoy going outside. I like to give it to other people that I know to recommend them going outside. I find it benefits me, but yeah, mentoring is an amazing thing to do. And for my last question, one that I think is my favorite, I say it on the peer-to-peer jam, but I decided that role models, it's still a fun question. Why not share it as well? Which is, what is a quote or person that really inspires you and why?
A quote or person that inspires me. I think if we were to actually go back to my mom, is probably one of the most inspirational women that I know. And she always would tell me that, always do your best, even when you think no one is watching. And I've always sort of kept that with me. So even when whether I'm putting together a program or I'm cleaning up the house or, just donating clothes or whatever, I always do my best, right? And always give my best 100%. I always want to do that, even if I know that nobody's watching, I still want to make sure that I'm doing the best I possibly can. And I believe that that also builds character, right? At the end of the day, I'm not going to cut corners, even if I can, because I philosophically don't think that that's the right thing to do. And even if no one is watching, I still need to do it for myself. I still need to make sure that I'm always doing the best I can and offering the best that I can.
Yeah, it's a really good thing to focus on. And it's amazing that your mom is the person. For me, I like to see my dad as someone that I really find inspiring. Of course, there's many other people, but yeah, I love my dad. And he's really helped me get to the places that I am now. And that is an amazing quote. I kind of follow that as well, sort of. I always try to do my best when I'm working at something. And yeah, really good advice for everyone listening. And to end on that happy note, I'd love to say thank you so much for coming today and letting me interview you. And of course, I wish you the best of luck with whatever you do next. And I hope you succeed and enjoy it.
Thank you so much, Sophia. Appreciate it. This has been great.
Yeah, and before I go into the next segment of this event, which is the peer-to-peer jam, Monica, is there anything you'd like to quickly add or say?
Of course, I always have a couple things. I'm in the green room and I'm off stage, but I'm watching this fabulous interview with superstars. I get goosebumps actually listening to the wisdom that's being shared. And I want to touch on a couple. How's my Superwoman pose? My Wonder Woman pose.
You all of a
I
sudden
was
you just feel
practicing behind
you
stage.
that's what I'm saying. You just feel empowered as soon as you do it. I had a situation with my son. He was feeling a bit sad. I said, do the Wonder Woman pose. And he's looking at me like, I don't know about this, mom. I'm like, do it. And then he did it. And he just started laughing. I'm like, but you feel better, don't you? And he's like, actually, yeah, I kind of do. So this is what I'm saying. You try it, you feel so much better. And you could do it when no one's watching. You just go to the washroom or something and do a Wonder Woman pose before you go out and rock the world. So much fun.
Love it. So Wonder Woman pose done. I'm going to do it every single day. The next one, I want to talk about Canva. Canva, I don't know if you know, but one of the co-founders and CEO, Melanie Rykins, actually is they're a unicorn status for Canva.
Yes.
So some interesting information. They raised $71 million in funding during the pandemic. So 55 million active users. So like a total amazing company. So I'm so happy that you guys talked about that. And again, woman-led company, founder Melanie, super excited. Maybe we should have her on for role model talk. What do you think?
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that
Let's
would be
make
amazing.
that happen. So without further ado, I want to say thank you very much, Siobhan, for sharing your words of wisdom. You are certainly a role model in my eyes. I'm happy to be on this journey with you. And of course, Sophia, you did an amazing job as a moderator today. And I'm looking forward to now the second part of our journey, which is the peer-to-peer jam.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll just give a quick little thing about the peer-to-peer jam. So through the peer-to-peer jam, I've actually been able to meet some amazing peers and I became pretty good acquaintances with them. I'm really glad that I've gotten the chance and yeah, I'm really excited. I just to check, is Bolu, were you able to come on to the call? No. Oh, yes, you were. Are you able to hear and turn on your camera to be part of the peer-to-peer jam? I'm not able to hear you. Could you maybe try speaking again? Oh, yikes. Maybe we could, yeah, because I'm not able to hear you. All right, so luckily we were able to get Bolu to have her mic and camera working again. And as I was saying, Peer-to-Peer Jam, I've been able to meet some amazing youth, become really good acquaintances with them. Again, if anyone listening, if you do have any questions, I recommend you put them down to the comments, or you can reach out to us on social media or any other platform. And with that, I will introduce the first amazing peer, who is Bolu, who also goes by Bolu Sings. She's a 14-year-old singer and songwriter from Ontario who makes really good songs about things happening currently in a really good way. Between March and June 2020, she wrote 2 songs on really important issues, including the coronavirus and systemic injustice. A little later, she made a song called Make It Right, which has been featured in CATV, CP24 News, and many other platforms that the song absolutely swept up. A new song that Bolu has created actually quite recently is When Life Changed, and I've been listening to both songs on Spotify and YouTube. However, like I said, you can find them on iTunes, Apple Music, Amazon, and many more. And for my next person, I have Kaya Gamble, who's 14 years old. She's a emerging pop singer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist based in Calgary, Alberta. Kaya sings in support of charitable causes and has now done so at around 40 of them. From the time she sang for charity, it was for hashtag OMGP or hashtag Oh My Garden Party in support of adolescent mental health, as well as a concert with Brent Kissel, a Canadian singer and songwriter who even made a song with Walk Off the Earth as Christmas charity concert in support of veterans at the Jack Singer Concert Hall. Her latest, however, is an event called Kaya Live, which you can learn more about on her social media, and you can see how you can participate. Her first single is Speak Out and is available on all streaming platforms, and it's a really good song. I'm listening to it on Spotify and YouTube as well, just like Bolu's songs, and it's a really good song. I recommend that you look it up, see what it's like, and again, not just on Spotify and YouTube, it's on every single streaming platform. And now for the last person, and sadly someone that wasn't able to join us today, is Chloe Shingus, who is 16 years old. She's a singer from Red Deer, Alberta, and has always found that music has moved her, and has absolutely excelled in choir, solo vocals, piano, and guitar. She shares the odd beauty on a rare occasion, or is asked to sing for the odd event. At the age of 10, Chloe did decide to broaden her talents, start playing baseball and hockey. She's also focusing on academics, something which I applaud, because learning is something that is all throughout life, and it's good to nail that skill down as you're younger. And I wish she was here. She's amazing to talk to. Sadly, she just wasn't able to make it. But happily, we do have Kaya and Bolu, and I would love to say I'm super happy you can make it this afternoon, and I really hope you've enjoyed October so far.
Thank you, Sophia. Sorry. Oh yeah, sorry. I'm so sorry. I think
No,
both
no,
of us
no,
were
you're
just like
so- you're
waiting to
good.
talk.
Thank you for the introduction. It was wonderful.
Absolutely wonderful. And October's been nice and sunny, thankfully.
Yeah. Luckily,
Really?
it has been.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Yeah.
It's been
Here in
really
Alberta,
rainy
we've
here.
been good.
Yeah, it's been really rainy here.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that sucks,
okay then.
but yeah, at least it's at least kind of great. It's not, at least I hope it's not super cold over there.
It's not too bad, and it's kind of nice to see because I walk like to and from school, and the leaves are falling now, so pretty colors on the trees. I love it. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, October is amazing. I'm really glad that we can have our peer-to-peer jam RoleModel talks this month. Sadly, we couldn't last month, but I'm really happy we could do this month. And for the peer-to-peer jam topic, actually this time for the listeners, is technology. And my first question on technology is, what in your view is technology, and what's your overall personal view of technology? And Kaya, how about you kick us this off?
Sure. Well, so I think of technology as an amazing achievement. Like just the fact that we're able to do this today, and Bolu's in Ontario and Sophia is in Edmonton and I'm in Calgary. It's just like, it's crazy that we're able to connect this way and be together technically. It's crazy how far you could just like push the human mind, the human thoughts, our capabilities that our brains have. And there is the case that technology gets in the wrong hands and it can be destructive and harmful to some people. But saying all this, my personal view of technology is positive, simply because of what it's done for me and done for overall society, sort of in a positive way. So yeah, that's kind of my view on technology.
That is a really good view, and it's a good view of technology, and you described it pretty well. And how about you, Bolu?
I agree with Kaya as well. I feel like if people, in the olden days were to see how technology is now, they'd probably think it's like so advanced and kind of like aliens and everything. But it's crazy to think that, humans have come up with such powerful machines. Like if you think about all the things we have now, we have laptops, we just have different ways to communicate and different ways to reach different people. It's like, how will it be in the future? And so I think it's really cool. It's really fascinating, very inspirational as well. Because, obviously technology, let's say, for example, the laptop, it must not have taken like one try. It took a lot of perseverance. So I think it's very inspiring. I mean, it has its pros and cons, but overall, I think it's pretty fun, pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. Technology, there are some amazing advancements that have happened in such a short period of time. And for me, my answer for this is I actually, for the what in your view is technology, a description that I made was I think anything human made that helps us or does a task to give us comfort, I think qualifies as technology. I actually searched up the definition on Google though, and it said science or knowledge put into practical use to solve problems or invent useful tools, which is a pretty good description, but I like mine. But there are tons of different definitions, and nowadays it is viewed as something more with batteries and a screen, etc. So yeah, there's many different definitions. And then my personal view of technology is that I think that some are definitely vital for certain people to live, whether it be because of where they live or an illness. For instance, I'm pretty sure there's a technology that's pretty essential in Canada is a way of gaining or keeping heat, especially in a month like February. It's pretty vital. We'd all would be not very comfortable, and there probably would be many deaths if there wasn't a way of keeping us warm during the winter. And so, yeah, that's me. I personally think that technology is a valuable and useful tool. However, there are definitely certain technologies that you need to put limits on just so that you're actually having mental and physical benefits outside of technology. So yeah, that's me. And then for the next question that I have is, what is the worst thing that has happened to you with technology, and what did you learn from it? And Bolu, why don't you go first?
I would like to say the worst thing, I mean, technically the worst thing would probably be breaking one of my laptops by accident. Like I had a bunch of books on it and then I opened it the next day and there was a bunch of like black dots on the screen, so I had to get my screen fixed. I know I don't like dots at all, so that was kind of scary for me personally. But I guess a relatable one would be during online school where there was some technical issues, and it wasn't just for me, but like other students had some, my teacher had some, and I guess sometimes it was terrifying because it was like, I'm missing some subjects and missing new work, and you don't want to miss that kind of stuff. But our teacher would always say that nothing's perfect, so I guess that's something that we all learned throughout that time. But yeah, we learned to be patient with technology.
Yeah, there have definitely through COVID and doing school virtually, that
Mhm.
is something that's popped up a lot. And how about you, Kaya?
Yeah, well, first of all, I completely understand the online school struggle. This is my, I guess, second year and a half of doing it. And when you have technical difficulties, it is stressful. But I think the worst thing that happened with me, sort of indirectly, it happened to my mom. So she downloaded Spotify on her computer, but it wasn't really, downloading Spotify. She had to go through all these different steps and had to download this file onto her computer. It was super shady. But a couple minutes later, everything on her screen was gone. Like everything. Her whole computer was wiped. And at the time, she's a ER doctor, so a lot of her work files are on there, and then she is also an entrepreneur, so a lot of her stuff for that was on there, and then I did a lot of my music work on there as well. So, like, I think when I first recorded Speak Out, the first version of it was on there and everything. It was crazy. We thought it was gone, right? And then the magic whizzes at the Apple Store, or people who are really smart with that, were able to bring everything back. But I just sort of learned from that. Then you have to be really wise with technology in terms of the way you view it. And in terms of, being really careful with not trusting everything on the internet, because there's a lot of things that, are like phishing things to just try and get your information. So always try and be safe as much as you can when you're using technology, and using the internet for sure is probably the big lesson that we learned from that.
Yeah, I'm glad that that happened and that you have learned something from, not necessarily have that happen, but the experience that you got from it. For me, I have not actually had that many bad experiences with technology. Happily, sorry. I mean, of course, I've had some Wi-Fi issues and there's some troubles with online school. But overall, I'm very lucky to have had not many creepy encounters on social media. I haven't had many things go wrong with my technology. I mean, once my computer crashed and there was like just bright lights everywhere on it, and that was kind of strange. But other than that, very luckily I haven't had many bad experiences, which is really great. And for my next question on technology is, do you think technology helps a person have a better quality of life? Why or why not? And Kaya, how about you go first?
Sure. Yeah. So, technology, like you said, Sophia, it's a tool. So how you use it is critical. Like you can use a hammer to build a house, but you can also use a hammer to break your toe, right? I don't know why I thought of that example, but sometimes things have two uses. So I guess it just really depends on how you use it. Because like especially with our demographic, technology is huge. Social media, Instagram, TikTok, and not just that sort of technology, but like stoves in our houses and heaters and stuff like that. So what you have to kind of do with technology is sort of be in control of it. And I think when you have that mindset, instead of every time your phone dings you have to go check it, or every time you have a message on Snapchat you have to answer back, but you're like, no, I can let this wait, because sometimes, I mean, even for me, I'm just like, I need to answer this right away. And I think that's something that our demographic faces a lot with technology, and sort of the need to just do things right away, and what's it called, instant gratification. But I think when you have that mindset that sort of you control the technology and the technology doesn't really control you, I know it sounds super silly, but it's what works for me for sure. I think then you can definitely have a better quality of life. And like you said too, for people who are using technology, like patients who are using chemotherapy for cancer, like that's obviously going to help them have a better quality of life. So it's just how you use technology is how you are going to improve or not improve your quality of life, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, it's a really good opinion on it. And yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And how about you, Bolu?
You literally said it all. I totally agree. Yeah, I feel like with everything, everything in moderation is really what you should be going for. As Kaya mentioned, like there's always obviously pros and cons to everything. And with technology, as you said, there's like heaters, there's different pieces that have been useful and that has helped us survive and help us in our everyday life, help us eat, different resources. Whereas, there obviously is a social media side of technology, which can still be good because there you get connections, you're allowed to speak to other people, get some social time, but everything in moderation. If you're on social media too much, that can start to damage your mental health. So I feel like it's, whatever you do with it is how it works out for you.
Yeah, it's a good view on it and a great way of talking about it. For me personally, I do think, like kind of all of you, is that I think technology can give you better quality of life with, of course, furnaces, ACs, stoves, microwaves, and an important one for Canada is a way of gaining or keeping heat for Canadian winters. And then some examples for how social media and technologies with screens can give you a better quality of life, because that one is a little iffy sometimes, is you do have a broader reach of people to connect with for business purposes or just for fun. I actually find a lot of local places around me that are fun and just to go to using social media like Instagram. And another big reason why technology can give you a better quality of life is how much information and learning material is on Google, Safari, YouTube, and etc. I mean, through these, I've learned so much on things like income, property, household chores, products that are good for my well-being and health, and etc. that would have taken a lot longer to learn just by myself and practice by myself. And it has really helped grow my knowledge base and improve my skills. But again, there are definitely limits you need to put on certain sets of technologies so that they're actually helping you get somewhere in life and actually learn something. And my last question on technology is, what are some of the best technologies that have occurred or been created in your view? And what are some of the ways that technology has played an influential role in your life? And Bolo, you can go first.
I think Okay, I have two. I feel like the two best technologies that could have been created and have been created are like cars and laptops. Or you know what? Maybe cars, laptops, and phones. I think cars because like when I think about just going to a bus with a bunch of people, I mean, I've done it often, I've done it before, but like it can be frustrating and obviously there's different stops and everything. Whereas if you have your own car or you're being driven by your parents, then it allows you to get to places faster. And I just find it more convenient and easier. And then for laptops, I just find them very useful when it comes to schoolwork. It's easier to do it than your phone and it's portable. And then obviously the phone is more portable than anything else. And it's come a long way, from having that like long cord and having to spin it constantly to literally just having to type into your touch board or touchpad. But yeah, it's technology has come a long way, which is really fascinating. So yeah, that's probably my top three. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great answer. And yeah, there have been some amazing technology jumps that have happened through the year, very short period of time that are amazing. And yeah, I found that technologies like computers and phones have helped me with schoolwork when I was virtual, but even now, because it's kind of integrated, because school's integrated a little bit more with technology.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's really helpful. And how about you, Kaya?
Yeah, well, first of all, such a hard question. Because like there's so much technology that helps us, and I completely agree with Bolu. Laptops, phones, cars, great examples. I mean, there's rocket ships and like the International Space Station because those take you up into space, and you can't go to space without a rocket ship and explore around there. I mean, vaccines have helped so many people, stay healthy. Artificial intelligence, like who would have ever thought that you could just say "Hey Siri" or "Hey Alexa" or just ask a robot person on the other. It's just I find that mind blowing, and like yeah, technology's just played a huge role in my life, and the fact that we're even doing peer to peer jam because of technology. I mean, I think Zoom's an amazing platform because it can be used for business and performing. Like um, it's just crazy because and programs like again social media is amazing too because I've like half of my following there is from Brazil. I like if I didn't have Instagram, then people in Brazil would never be able to connect with my music, and my songs have had streams, all around the world because of technology. But again, like furnaces and ACs and everything that gives us our day to day pleasure and our day to day needs. That not only things that we want to do, but things that we need to do, like eat and stay warm. So yeah, there's tons of great examples, and I could literally ramble on about technology all the time because there's so many examples. So I will stop talking now.
Yeah, there are some amazing technologies out there. Through TKS, sorry, I've been able to learn so much about so many cool technologies out there and sort of how they work. I mean, I'm not an expert yet, but like I kind of get a gist. And yeah, technology is amazing. For me, technologies that I think are super cool is the tiniest technologies out there. Like I know that there is a computer out there that's the size of a grain of rice, and it does exactly what a computer can do, except tinier, like very much tinier. And of course, there are thousands of small medical technologies out there that are absolutely doing amazing things all the time and allow doctors to do their jobs better and nurses to do their jobs better. And then for major things, technologies that impact my life. During COVID, technologies helped me so much with continuing to do school, connecting with people, trying things, and doing interviews like this. And technologies help me with learning. For instance, I have learned a lot about investment property and building my confidence within it because my dad is in income property and investment property, but learning more information and actually learning different areas and the core bits of it really have helped me build a base for myself to jump into it with confidence and learning about it with confidence. So as a summary, I think that the smallest technologies out there are probably the coolest. Also, I found that technologies have helped me through COVID, and also technology has helped me with learning and getting into income property. And now that we are at the end of that, we get to go into the last question, and one that I think all of us love, and I'm super happy to get to it, which is what's a new quote or person that you find inspiring? And Kaya, you can go first.
Yes. I've been looking forward to this one. So this is actually I don't know who this is by. It's anonymous, but I absolutely, when I saw it, I just loved it. And it's the best time for new beginnings is now. And that just means, sometimes I think we can procrastinate and be like, oh, I'll do that tomorrow. But no, like now, if you want to change your life, turn it around, now's the time to do it, sort of thing. And I love that. And then in terms of a person, I know I mentioned this a little in the last peer-to-peer jam, is that her name, but I actually started researching her more because she just appeared on my social media, and I was like, oh my gosh, this girl's so cool. And then I started researching her more after we had our last peer-to-peer. Her name's Jessica Cox. She became the first pilot with no arms, which is like crazy. She's only 38 years old, and she has a black belt in Taekwondo. I just thought, like, that is the most inspirational person ever. Like, it's just crazy. So, after I saw her last time, I just had to learn more about her, and she's such a cool person.
Yeah, that is amazing. It's so great that you're able to talk about a person this time. I know that quotes are probably our favorite, but people, like, there are some amazing people out there. And how about you, Bolu?
Okay, so I actually heard people saying these at school, and I'll try to remember them. I know the first one was be yourself. Everybody else is already taken, something like that. And I think it was like by Oscar. I don't know what his last name was, but I think that one's inspirational because, like, sometimes, especially when you're in, oh my gosh, especially when you're in a room with a bunch of people, it can be kind of intimidating to either be yourself or just be confident within yourself. So I think it's really important, and I think that's just a little confidence boost and a reminder. And then the other one, it was something like it was darkness. No, darkness cannot drive away darkness, only light can. And hate cannot drive away hate, only love can. Okay, that was what it was. And I think it just reminds you that, be the light, spread love to other people. I think it just brings everything back to, with COVID, there's been a hard time for everyone. So why not just show love to your neighbor? Why not just be kind? And I think they're both, quotes you can take with you every day, whether you need some extra boost of confidence or just want to have a reminder to be kind to everyone as well as yourself. So, yeah.
Those are amazing quotes. The first one, that one's actually posted like on my school, like literally just posted on the wall, and it's a really good one. Yeah.
Yes.
And the darkness one, that one, sorry, has a really good moral to it. And yeah, it's really good. I'm amazed that you're able to memorize it. It's kind of long, but it's a really good one. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. For me, a quote that I have this time is, science helps us understand the world, and art creates the world that we understand. And I'll say that again, just because it's kind of hard to distinguish the difference between art and science sometimes. So science helps us understand the world, and art creates a world that we understand. And I think it has such meaning to it, and there's a lot to pick apart and think about, which in my view makes a quote kind of neat. I don't remember who it was by, I'm sorry, but I just remember hearing it in some video I was watching on like a course or something, and I just heard it and I really loved it. And then for a person that I decided on this time was Olga of Kiev. And I think that she's just so amazing and interesting. She is someone from like way back then. So she's a little bit more of a past figure. She isn't alive, not been running anymore. But basically, just to run through of her story, because I just found her super neat, is after another kingdom had killed her husband, who was the king of Kiev, she basically went on this like revenge tour and that absolutely just displayed her cunningness, even left a burning city in her wake, which was a really big statement to her enemies to back off. And yeah, she was so interesting. I think she became a saint as well. Yeah, she became a saint of something. And her story is super interesting. It would take forever to get through it, but I really recommend you search her up, learn about her and her story, because she's done some pretty remarkable things.
Wow.
And that concludes my answer. Balu or Kaya, is anything you'd like to add on or comment on or anything?
That is amazing. I think for the art part of your quote, I think that really makes sense, because I've always thought, and I feel like Kaya, even actually everyone else in here can relate to this. It's like music is a different language in a sort. Like it's this way that allows you to speak to other people. And, in a lot of songs, there's different messages that you can grasp from it, which tells you that it's, a universal language. So I feel like, art helps you art, including music, helps you understand things of the world that sometimes you wouldn't be able to understand in like normal language, I guess.
Mm.
I'm gonna tie a quote into this because why not? When
Yes.
words fail, music speaks.
Yes, 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 yes.
And when you said music is a universal language, I say that all the time because
Mhm.
literally everybody in every single country in the
Listens to
world
music.
celebrates music in a different
Yeah.
way. But it's still music, right? It is a different
Mhm.
language. You could technically say it that way. Um, and it's just so cool too how science and music and science and art are connected. I love STEAM, like science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. So even the fact that this panel is so diverse, having
Mhm.
Baloo as a singer, me as a singer, Sophia being an amazing STEAM entrepreneur, Chloe being in
Hey.
academics and music, and Roberta as well. It's just so inspiring to see how those two things come together. So Sophia, I
Mhm.
love your quote, and Bolu, all the points you've made today are just am completely in line with. So yeah, that was an awesome jam.
We're like a powerhouse. We're driving change. We're driving change.
Yeah, it's really good. And yeah, I absolutely love those quotes. And for me, I find that, yeah, STEAM is a really good one because I actually like music more than art. I mean, I
Mhm.
definitely like drawing, but I see it more as a fun activity. And when I go to museums, I of course like to look at it, but I actually find music, to be honest, I like more because it can really set a mood of something, or it has the words, like you can have words or you can just have
Yeah.
the song.
It's true.
Like it's really diverse and it really sets tone of something in the mood. And yeah, there's just such a variety of music. I think music is amazing.
You know what's really cool? Okay, so at my school, I'm in the performing arts program. And so as one of the things we were learning was miming. And before I was like, I thought the teacher even mentioned this. He was like, no, miming isn't just the guy with like the black and white t-shirt going like this, looking like a clown. It's like it's a way to express yourself without words. And I found it really cool because as we were learning to move around, open doors and express different emotions, it's like you could understand it even though he wasn't talking, you could still understand it. So I feel like art is so cool. I don't know, it does a thing with your mind, and I find it fascinating.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, and I mean, especially because art's really right brain. I think it's right brain, and then math and science and engineering is really left brain. So
Mhm.
when those two combine too, like art and music are just phenomenal. And when you're putting together like a concert or a show, a lot of the lighting and the stage work and the
Math, yeah.
technology, the sound stuff, that's all left brain. So if you think about it, when those two things combine to create an amazing concert experience for so many like people, like if you go to see, I don't know, Harry Styles I don't know why I thought of Harry Styles, but if you went to go see him on stage, and he has all the smoke shows and all the dancers, but just how those two things come together is just so cool. So I just want to say how great it's been, because it's almost been a year that us three and Bolu and not Bolu, oh my gosh, you're here, Chloe and Roberta, and all of us have been talking. So I just want to mention how great
What?
this has been. So yeah,
Our
because we started
anniversary's coming up.
our anniversary. Wait, was it like December or January that we started?
I think it was
I think it was
February. I
February.
think I'm pretty
okay.
sure it was February because it was February 14th was our first one. And it's October 14th. So yeah, we're
We're
almost
getting
there. We're
there.
almost to
Oh my gosh,
February.
that's so sweet.
We're so
I love that.
close.
Yeah, it's amazing. Just to add Monica into the conversation, is there anything that you'd like to add or say? Maybe.
I'm always waiting in the green room ready to say something. So number one, we are going to be celebrating our first year anniversary in January. It was January that
Oh,
we said, let's just do it, because part of
Mhm.
the reason, was, did we have everything figured out at the very beginning? We knew we wanted to do a peer-to-peer jam. We knew we wanted to interview role models, but we really didn't have all figured out. And I think that's what separates people that are running and they're succeeding, is because we just dig in and do it and we figure it out on the way. And so you guys have all created this beautiful conversation. And, you know, it's just been so great over the past years sitting in the green, watching you do the jam, inspire, get this really amazing conversation going. I want to say like the technology today and the arts are super, super awesome. By the way, I don't think we had a jam since we had the Women Driving Change Woman of Inspiration book. And of course, you all are award recipients of Woman of Inspiration, and you all are. And I think, you know, you said we are driving change. I think it was Blue that said, we're driving change. Yes. And to Siobhan's point, strike your power pose, girls. Strike it. You are driving change. And I think that that's the power of your voices. And that's the power that we're doing together. So I'm super excited. We're going to have something really great that's happening. You know, we're going to have to think of something really great for January to celebrate. But I think we can celebrate. This is a pretty big milestone. You all are in the book. And the book is a #1 bestseller on Amazon in 3 categories. Mm-hmm. Like, how many young ladies do you know that have been a part of something so historical and changing? So I just want to say congratulations to all of you for being a part of such an awesome, awesome project, and for you being courageous enough to share your truth and speak your words and really be up for the challenge of driving that change. Again, Sophia, amazing job moderating the panel today. Your questions are off the charts great. Oh, I had one technology question that we forgot. In technology, and I was waiting the weeds here, technology enabled us to do this book. Technology enabled us. I mean, I know there's little quirks and some odd stuff, but during this book, we were in lockdown and we couldn't have anybody outside of our immediate bubble. We, in some provinces across Canada, we couldn't even leave our homes. We were still in lockdown. And so to try and do the photo shoots with all of the women in the book, like over 100, we had to figure out how are we actually going to do this? And it was virtual technology that enabled that to happen. And if I can just show Sophia, may I show your picture?
Oh yeah, 100%, definitely. It turned out amazing.
100%. Okay. So let's let's show. Okay. So this picture here, wonderful. That's a power pose if I ever saw one. Just saying. Hold on a sec. Can you see the pose? Hold on. I got to go down. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
I think somebody should screenshot that with your phone. Does anybody have a phone to screenshot that?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Okay. So that is a power pose. Have you got it?
Yeah. Got it.
Okay. So Sophia, you've got a power pose going on. Let's go to Blue. You've got a power pose going on here too, ladies. And you know what?
I
So
do?
cool. Yes. You can.
Oh yeah, mine was kind of like
all
over
of
the
your
shoulder.
pictures there, ladies. Like your power poses, you're doing that so intuitively. And Kaya, I'm going to grab your power pose here. Okay. Okay, sorry, hang with me, guys. It's important stuff we're talking about here. Okay, it's coming. There we go. Again. Power
Hey,
pose.
I love the
Power
sitting
pose.
one. You're like, I'm in
Just
business.
one
This
more,
is
and let's
serious.
check out Roberta's and Chloe's.
I love this so much.
QRS. I should have had these tabbed already, but I wanted to be really authentic and flip to the page.
You're persevering. We pretty much persevered throughout this
We
whole meeting.
persevered through this whole one, including my dog barking.
It's the word of the day and my internet issues.
Okay, look at this. I didn't even know this, but look at the power pose there.
Hey, the doggo.
Oh my gosh, yeah, they have a dog, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Let's check out Chloe. And I didn't even notice that, ladies. But this is the next generation of leaders here.
Yes.
You all are the next generation of leaders.
Go Chloe.
It's Chloe.
She looks amazing.
Beautiful.
I love the
beautiful,
outfit.
beautiful.
Wow.
So I just want to say it's been such a journey. I look forward to celebrating our 1-year anniversary and all the change that we're going to make in this next year and beyond, because the peer-to-peer jam, role model talks, we're going to take it to a whole new level. So thank you so much, Kaya, for sharing the great news about your song. Of course, we're going to share it, share it, share it. Blue, like, I'm excited to actually have you perform again on the jam. So we'll have to do that again. And
Yes.
so set your date for the next jam, everyone, and join us. Thank you so much, everyone. It's been a pure pleasure. And of course, there's so many incredible role models to talk about. And, you know, I think that we learn from each other, definitely. And this is the way that we empower people. And when we're talking about women that inspire, I have to say probably one of the most inspiring women that I've met so far on this journey here in this past little while was somebody that I had met over the past few months, and it's Hazel, the Honorable Hazel McKellion, and she was the former mayor of Mississauga, and she and I shared the same birth date. I turned 50, she turned 100, and
Twins, kind of.
a whole lot of years of wisdom to share. And she says one thing that would help all of the youth is independence. And so all of the things that we're talking about in these peer-to-peer jams is about how to build confidence, how to be a leader, how to be independent. And there's so much value here. So I can't wait to bring Hazel on board for the next show and bring her on to the peer-to-peer jam and role model talks. What do you think, girls?
Totally.
Yes. I need
100%.
to hear what she has to say.
Okay, we're gonna send this to
It's
her.
a need.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone. We look forward to sharing more jams and peer-to-peer role model talks with you. See you soon. Thank you again, ladies, for sharing your time, and we'll see you again real soon.